And so
Who was your friend? And what was his perspective? What was his field of research? Where did he get this conclusion from?
It was somebody I'd worked with, but I'm convinced he'd read all the documents. He was
which documents do you think he'd read, Oliver?
I don't know.
You changed your view on European Union membership as a consequence of what he said.
So it looks like even more right-wing journalists are starting to acknowledge that Brexit was a complete disaster. This time, Lord Finkelstein in the Times of London arguing that Labour should talk about rejoining the European Union coming up to the next election. And in light of that great admission by him, I thought we'd play another ridiculous Brexit call. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Let's watch this together, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
Oliver is in Leyland. Oliver, what would you like to say?
I'd like to tell you why I voted for Brexit.
Okay. Shall I guess?
What?
Shall I guess?
Yeah, have a guess, yeah.
Okay. Is it because you wanted to make our own laws and withdraw from the European superstate that we never agreed to join in the first place?
To some extent, yes.
Yeah, because that's all nonsense.
What?
Well, we did agree to join much more than just a single market back in the early 70s. Ted Heath wrote extensively about it. It's not a superstate, and we don't really have the... Oh, go on, never mind.
My dad was a senior officer in one of the big trade unions.
Yeah.
And he said, it was a bit of a joking conversation. He said, you don't like that, do you? And I said, well, yeah, joining a common market seems like a good idea to me. And I couldn't work out. I'd never asked him why he didn't like it. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, "You do realise you're voting for the United States of Europe. That's what it's all about." Mm. And I said, "I don't want that. I want the common market. I think the common market's a good idea."
Yeah.
And so
who was your friend? And what was his perspective? What was his field of research? Where did he get this conclusion from?
It was somebody I'd worked with, but I'm convinced he'd read all the documents. He was
which documents do you think he'd read, Oliver?
I don't know.
You changed your view on European Union membership as a consequence of what he said.
My dad had already told me.
Right.
And I mean, he knew people like Harold Wilson.
Yeah.
He only rubbed shoulders with him. He didn't. Anyway, and so I voted against, and I thought, well, that's it. We're
But what were you voting for?
What was I was voting against going into what was then called the common market.
Right. So we're going back to the early 70s now, are we?
Oh, yes.
Right. I'm just interested in why you don't regret voting to leave the European Union, given the long, long lists of broken promises and irrefutable damage that we've been detailing since 10 o'clock this morning.
It was magic when I heard we were going to get a vote to come out.
It was a brooch of purest green.
No. You're making that's a love.
So what were you celebrating? What were you celebrating? Well, I'm not as good as your mate who told you that we were going to be joining an independent. What was it? The United States of Europe. He was even better at words than me because he'd read all the documents. So what were you celebrating when you felt that wonderful euphoria?
Because when I think it was Maastricht. I don't really know.
I just want to focus on one moment. We're jumping through the decades like Doctor Who at the moment. That day, that night, when the result came in and you said you felt, I think the word you used was fantastic or amazing, that euphoria of that moment, what were you celebrating?
That we were out and...
Yes, but what did that... Well, that's just a word, isn't it? What did that mean? What was going to get better? What was going to get better for your country or yourself?
We were going to be able to renegotiate And
but David Cameron had just undertaken a massive renegotiation. You know that. So what was going to get better? Because we now know that everything's got worse, but you still think it was a good idea. So what was going to get? What made you feel euphoric that night in June?
Well, I didn't believe it was going to happen.
But you wanted it to. We're still. You've been on now for 4 or 5 minutes, and we still don't know what you wanted.
I was expecting. When they were talking, was it the Canada deal they were talking about, or the Norway
you jumped
deal?
again now. We're just talking about June 2016. You were celebrating. What did you win?
What did I win? We won our... Oh, you're going to say... You're doing
it again. I'm just asking you what you won. Don't worry about Canada. Don't worry about the 1970s. Don't worry about Harold Wilson. Don't worry about anything that I might be about to say. Just tell me what you won.
Well, we were going to be alongside the United States of Europe.
What did you win? What did you win?
Well, I thought we won the ability to get rid of the bits of the United States of Europe that I didn't want.
For example?
Well, the political side of it.
Yeah, go on. What was the thing you wanted to wave goodbye to first?
I was making a joke that night and saying, send some gunboats out to sink foreign fishing boats.
Yeah, hilarious. So what was the thing that you wanted to get rid of first?
The thing that I wanted to get rid of first? Well, everything to do with...
No, just not everything, just one thing.
One thing.
Yeah,
I wanted to...
You've had 6 years to think about it.
Yeah.
Actually, you've had 40. No, don't let me distract you from the central question. I appreciate you're not going to be able to tell me what it is you want. So what was it you were looking forward to getting rid of?
No, what I wanted us to go back to the common market that I thought we were signing up for.
But you voted to leave it. You voted to leave the single market and the customs union. So how was that going to help us go back to it?
I didn't vote to leave the common market.
You did.
I voted to leave the European Union.
Yes, but they were the same thing by 2016, Oliver.
Yes.
So anyway, what you said, you couldn't wait to get rid of the political stuff and all the difference.
Yeah.
If you so, give me an example of that, the stuff that you were hoping to, or even perhaps, if I could be so bold, an example of the things you're glad that we have now got rid of.
For example, not being able to only the European Parliament is only able to vote on things.
Yes, but I'm asking about the things that they have voted on. I'm not interested in the procedure of the Parliament. The things that you couldn't wait to get rid of. The things that you were bound by. The rules or the laws that you had to abide by. The regulations that you had to observe. The changes to your life that had been implemented by membership that you couldn't wait to shrug off. What were they?
Well, we have to go back to when Thatcher decided to...
You're back in your TARDIS. It was June 2016. You're celebrating the things that you don't have to do anymore. What were they?
I'm 75 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you. And the whole point is, this business has been on the news ever since we signed up to join. And every time something happened, it was worse for us.
How? Can you give me one example? Do you think?
Yes, I can.
Go on then, because it's been a while.
Yes, I can.
Go on then.
But when Margaret Thatcher decided that we were going to be the money changers of Europe,
right,
and we were at that point a fairly important manufacturing country.
Yes.
And you're going to say yes, but we sent all our manufacturing to China. Because
you keep telling me what I'm going to say. I just wish you'd concentrate on what you're going to say when I ask you what you actually won. It's for the final time, because I'm late for the news and I don't want to interrupt your birthday preparations. What did you win? I say, here's the prize that you celebrated. What are you pointing at?
I'm pointing at the common market.
Right. Have a great birthday, won't you? Lottie Morley's here with your headlines.
So like many, many other times before, what you've witnessed is the very reason the Brexit project is now collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions. That caller, Oliver, wasn't a fool. He was a casualty. He was sold an impossible fantasy, and James, as he always does, just calmly and surgically exposed it. And what's funny is Oliver says the one thing he wanted was to go back to the common market. And James instantly highlights the irony of that statement. The vote he cast was to leave the single market, the modern version of the common market. So the caller was even hoodwinked into voting against the only tangible thing he claimed to want. He couldn't name a single law, a single regulation, a single benefit. Why? Because, as is now being admitted across the political spectrum, there were no tangible benefits for the average person. The entire project was built on a foundation of vague nostalgia and deliberate misdirection, and people like Oliver were the victims. So when somebody like Lord Finkelstein now openly writes that the only logical, political and economic path forward is to reverse course, it's a stunning admission that the prospectus sold to people like Oliver was fundamentally and deliberately hollow. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons for more, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.